everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Computomics podcast. Last week, we discussed plant phenotype predictions for the future of climate change. And this week, we will discuss something just as interesting, which is the emerging field of cannabis and hemp genetics. I hope you enjoy it, and here is the episode. Today, I have Joseph from Sproutways with me, and Joe and I made a nice connection. I think we understand each other. And the reason for that, I think, is partially based in our love for innovation in a challenging landscape. And him and I discussed that we love being part of startups and part of sort of the cutting edge of a field because there's so much room for creative and intelligent opportunity. So on that note, Joseph, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what drives you in your field, which is essentially cannabis and hemp strains and genetics, and why you do what you do.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Anna, for the opportunity. So just a quick context, I'm Joseph Solistio, CEO founder of Sproutways. And Sproutways is a marketplace to search for the top quality and proven plant genetics, and as well as the licensed farms and nurseries that grow them. My motivation is that, first from my own background, I led the launch of one of the first open source 5G platform with the big providers like AT&T, Google, as well as many, hundreds of providers and global systems integrators. The project becomes, eventually a blueprint for today's 5G network. And, so that's I like big projects, but at the same time, I do like to disaggregate status quo. And it's important for us to look at the future in a more practical and efficient way. And I do believe that there's always room for the supply chain for cannabis and hemp to be disaggregated and provide the kind of a little bit more efficient way to access and to market. So that's actually one of the fundamental reason. And aside from that, from my personal side, basically my family, so I was raised in Indonesia. My family has been running one of the largest herbal company in Asia since the 1950s. It was founded by my great-grandmother. So I'm excited to take this global integrated platform experience with my open source knowledge and my open source experience and my herbal supply chain upbringing to make this mission to be successful.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, you take this idea of a global impact, global integration, and sort of, as you mentioned before, building these true ecosystems that are founded on, proven success and value and bringing them to the places where they're really needed, right? And I think at the moment, as we see the cannabis and hemp industry open up, there's definitely room for structure and for sort of ingenuity, right? So what kind of ingenuity or, what has been your experience and where it's really necessary to bring that sort of ecosystem in?
Absolutely. So I think that it's important to understand the problem and also where the needs in the market, right? We are engineers and salespeople in our mind and our heart, always the case, because we believe that what we build is the best thing. But I think in this time, especially with COVID or anything else that happened within the global pandemic, we have to prioritize our effort. Yes. So we have to look at the problem first, and the problem really existing or is just something that we're trying to re-engineer. So I think that it's unbeknownst to me, but also to others. But until I really talk to the growers and the breeders, and many of them, basically to hundreds of them, in this predicted, they say $140 billion of market in both cannabis and hemp, even more than that. The cannabis and hemp operations are still finding a very tough time. They're struggling to find the right genetics, how to grow them, and also the producers or any of the breeders that are growing them. So there's really no substantial data whatsoever. And because the law around supply chain is very fragmented on those two high-end commodities, there are no known platforms. You can find it in agriculture, in cannabis, or even non-cannabis, or hemp or non-hemp, doesn't matter, to even help or support them. So in a way, it's very trial and error basis, very manual. And when we launch our first version of platform, what we want to do is actually to change that, at least provide a way to help to kind of in that first pain. The first pain is that they want to find the right genetics. So what we do is that we onboard, hundreds of different rare and also award-winning genetics that have been proven and vetted by the breeders, in which they have been in the production, they have won some cup, they have been tested by people. And when I say the people here, both traditional and non-commercial and commercial people. And at the same time, also we've done our due diligence by means that we have partnership and have onboarded, leading cannabis farms, distributors, and dispensaries in which they are resonating the mission of education. They're resonating the transparency.
Yeah.
They're resonating that open marketplace in which we help them to carry their legacy and bring them to fruition. And aside from that, I think that, from the hundreds of different paid customers that we have, the end customers, we've seen that there is a need and people are responding positively with the effort that we're making.
Yeah. So it really makes me think of, a time when Computomics was founded in 2012. And at the time, the reason why, genetics was really, when I talk about genetics, of course, I mean, the genetic code was really sort of becoming available, affordable, right? And so at the time as well, there was no real infrastructure of where somebody could go to get a reliable assembly or reliable, reference genome or annotation. And so we saw that need and we wanted to do it in a way that was something that people could really trust and could come back to and would really help stabilize the field, right? The field that at the time was very complicated. And now we see companies like Google or Microsoft that are coming in and saying, oh, actually, we are now ready to enter, machine learning for biology. And we say, yeah, we saw that. And I feel like you're at that same place. Like you see the need and you're ready for the challenge. It's a little bit probably before, before we're ready to step in, right? But eventually the genetics and the gene identification will follow suit, right?
Absolutely. I think that, we're, in a way, basically, I call it basically kind of a three-step process or, kind of the evolution or the cycles of it, basically to make sure that you do have the needs and then where it takes us. I think that when, you mentioned about Google was founded to the point, basically, it's just people want to find the website that kind of provides the best, the best ranking or at least trusted ranking in a way, so that people are not wasting their time looking at hundreds or even thousands of different resources. And I think that we're at that point, at that influx point where people are tired of just, there's no trusted resources, there's no trusted data, and people have to be able to do trial and errors that actually waste a lot of their time and then money. And, in which, they probably, want to be able to be more productive and more innovative, but I think they need the help, right? And I think that we're at that cusp of that point. In terms of the genetic fingerprinting or any basically of genetics study, basically, I think this is, what you mentioned about the needs of that absolutely is going to be very valuable as people are able to find the right genetics. Then the fingerprinting, the predictive analysis, or any kind of machine learning that requires a large amount of data to understand how genetics is being transformed or is behaving within their own environment.
Yes.
And with that, I think that we are just coming into that phase where the needs are more validated, and people will need those valuable data to make their investment in their company and their operations to be more fruitful, right? To produce the right products. And so lifestyle companies, brand manufacturers are going to be coming into this, and we've seen that dynamic interactions with the bioscience and R&D research companies to standardize. They call it clean genetics, the right genetics. So we're coming into that point, and I think that we are, this is an exciting time. So that's why we're in we need to have that level of partnership, and we need to have that level of a study for us to get us to that next phase.
I agree. I really agree. And, we love a challenge here at Computomics, especially if it's a plant-based challenge. And so for us, helping the cannabis and hemp industry is really amazing. And I really hope that we can help, you know, help you guys and work together. And maybe just as a wrap up, can you tell us who would you like to get in touch with you? So who are you interested in talking to? Who should come to you? And maybe give us just the website or a way to reach you.
So to get to our site, it's very easy. It's sproutways.com, and then in there you will see the first version of our interpretation, how we think search and marketplace should be done. And then to the people that we'd like to engage with are the same people that right now we're engaging with, which means that those are the growers, the farms, and the nurseries, from both cannabis and hemp, because we see that hemp is the provide more flexibility because of the farm bill, especially in the US in 2018, that gives you more commerce access to more states compared to cannabis that's still a Schedule 1 and being state regulated. However, because of the tight relationship between cannabis and hemp, I do believe that we do need to solve this together. And so cannabis farms, cannabis nurseries, or hemp farms and hemp nurseries would like to be engaged with you and then solve this together.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And I look forward to our growing partnership and to what we can do in this world together. So thanks so much, Joe. So thank you everyone for listening, and I hope that was valuable for you. If you are a cannabis or hemp breeder or grower and you're interested in exploring cannabis and hemp genetics, if you would like help for trait identification or causal gene identification, if you would like to explore the genetics of your males, if you would like to maximize the genetic potential of your germplasm, feel free to get in touch with us. All of our services are custom-based and tailored to your needs. We don't share or hold on to any of your information. Everything is secure, and we'll work with you from whichever point you're starting from. So if you're at the very beginning and just thinking of building up your genetics program, feel free to get in touch with us. If you're very advanced and just need help analyzing some bioinformatics data, we're also there for you. So thank you again. Visit our website, computomics.com. Follow us or like us, and we hope you'll join us next week.